We're live.
Gently tap. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
March the 9th, 2021. It's about 9:07. Regular meeting, Commissioners Court, Liberty County, Texas. Let the record show that Commissioner Karbowski, Commissioner Arthur are here in person. Commissioner Whitmire and Commissioner Wilson are by way of Zoom. Mr. God, our auditor, is with us. Bill Hugmiller, Fire Marshal, and Mr. C, our purchaser, and Sheriff Rader is with us by way of Zoom as well. If this for the court, we do have the quorum established, we'd all rise. Lee's going to lead us in our pledges. Get the invocations going.
Please face the American flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please face the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And if y'all all pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for each and every day that you wake us up in the morning. Feet hit the floor, we say thanks to you for all your wonderful blessings, your grace, your wisdom. Lord, please be with us as we go through this meeting today and help commissioners to make the right decisions. And as always, please bless this county, this state, this great nation. This great state's 185 years old. Forever may her flag wave. We ask these things in thy name, that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
All right. First item up, no seeing notices of proclamations and no public comments today, so continue on consent agenda. Dwayne, we have anything you need to add on this morning?
Yes, I want to add a budget amendment. Precinct 3 and Precinct 4 are trading some equipment, one piece of equipment for another. And part of the trade is Commissioner Wilson is transferring $9,000 out of his land acquisition fund to Commissioner Whitmire's repairs and maintenance fund. Line item.
Anything else?
That's it.
Kim, you got anything? Right.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the amendments that Brian made.
Second.
Got a motion from Greg, second from Leon to approve with the noted amendments. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. 7.1, Mr. Karbowski has consideration and approved sale of a high water truck, ESD number 2 for $8,000.
This high water rescue vehicle, y'all remember when I bought these, several of them. Hull Days Fire Department has had this in their possession ever since their training the other fire departments, the use on it. They're wanting to paint it and kind of mark it as their own. The 8,000 is exactly what I have in it from precinct 1. So I would like to go ahead and get rid of it.
Move to approve the sale.
Is this one of those vehicles that we received from the Texas Facilities Commission?
Yes, sir, it is.
Uh,
The time of that, I believe, has elapsed on the year that we were supposed to keep it.
okay.
But I will check on that with Matthew to make sure everything is all right before we proceed.
All right.
Make a motion, we approve.
I just need a second right now. I already got a motion from Greg.
I'm sorry. Second.
Okay. Got a motion from Greg, second from Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye. Those nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. 7-2, permits inspection, Mr. Douglas, but we have consolidated today, haven't we? Okay. Consider and approve GLO draw request number 5 for payments to GrantWorks, the amount of $28,779. And LJA Engineering, the amount of $60,343. And all this is just passed through money, is that correct, Melissa?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah, a motion for Bruce. Second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. 7.3, Mr. C, I'm glad to see you there with us. Consider to approve the guaranteed maximum price from White Construction for the construction of the new sheriff's office at JP3 Annex. Morning, Harold.
Hello, how you doing? Okay, I had to leave early yesterday afternoon, so if they sent this, I have not seen it yet. They probably would have sent it to you, Judge, and to Stephanie if she's there. She's in the audience, ask her.
Okay,
Yes, I have it, and Kenny's here, he's gonna, speak to you on it, so refresh it.
okay, y'all come over here a little bit so everybody
Kenny's
can see
our
you.
architect on the project.
All right.
Judge, where would you like me?
Right kind of close in between Lee and
Right.
Yeah,
and
come on
Bruce.
in here.
That way everybody can see your smiling face.
Okay.
Yeah.
If, this is Kenny Burns. He's our architect of record for this project. And glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners. We did receive the guaranteed maximum price this morning from White Construction. They worked on it until the last minute last night. I actually talked to them around 5:30 last night. And they sent it in to Stephanie this morning. So typical of one of these projects where we use construction manager at risk, they give us a guaranteed maximum price. They also give us a lot of other documents that offer up some further cost savings, and they give us typical construction language of what's included, what's not included, and all that stuff. So we have all that. Don't necessarily plan to go through that in tremendous detail unless you have questions, because otherwise we'd be here for a couple hours. But the bottom line is, and there's the document, so y'all will all be able to get it later. The bottom line is a guaranteed maximum price for both the sheriff's office and JP3 Annex buildings, the two buildings together, $18,896,772. And so as a guaranteed maximum price,
Brian,
that includes everything.
Brian, could you give me that cost one more time?
$18,896,772.
Thank you.
Okay. Just to go over a couple other things with you so you know where we're at. There are items in there like a contingency, $190,000. We want that because you never know what you're going to come up against. There are some offers on the front end to reduce some cost that we need to talk to the court about. Most of them are going to be things I think you would defer to me to look at. For example, there's 4, I'll go over those. Number 1, provide fiberglass sound attenuation back in lieu of thermofiber. So we're just talking about using one brand over another brand. On the surface, I see no problem with that. So $45,000 savings. So we're probably going to take that.
Okay.
Number 2 would be delete the drywall sheathing at the exterior framing above the covered porch at the JP Annex. That's something we talked about with them. We showed it one way on the Annex porch and a different way on the sheriff's office porch. And I told him we could take that out. That
That would be used like FRP blue of that or what?
well, it's just, there's no insulation. It's a porch, it's an exterior space, so it doesn't need to be insulated.
Okay.
$2,000 savings. So not huge, but still savings. Number 3 is to provide Atlas AC foam to polyisonerate roof insulation with the roof in lieu of DuPont deck made plus attenuation. So you see, it's a brand, one brand versus a different that we spec. That's a $68,000 savings. So as long as the R values are the same, which I will double check, we're going to advise you to take that savings. Number 4, because that property is really flat, we're going to not be able to do a lot of cut and balance with the soils that we have to dig up. So their proposal is if we will let them take that excess soil and spread it around at the back of the site where the future jail would go, save $30,000. Well, so I get this information at 5:30 last night, and I'm going to jump over to and tell you how I see this as a win-win on something else in the county. And I think we should take this. I have been working with ESD number 7 on potential new fire station. Last time I was here a couple of weeks ago, we went out and looked at the site. I had the civil engineer with me. And so they want us to see how we could put a fire station on there, a helipad, a temporary building first until they get the money to build a fire station. But then a couple of days later, I get an email from Clint saying they're concerned now that we'd have to raise the site up, bring in fill dirt. He's afraid it would cost $100,000. So the engineer ran a calculation. It's absolutely right. It's in the low $100,000 range, 130,000. And then I get this last night.
Mm-hmm.
And you see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Win-win situation for the county. They saved $30,000 off this contract for the sheriff's office if we could use county trucks to haul that dirt to the ESD site, if that's okay, because it's all part of the county. Legal will have to advise us on that.
Sure.
Maybe the site that they were donated, we can make it work for the ESD 7 and not have to spend $100,000 on dirt, because they need about half as much dirt as we need to go spread around the backside of the property. So we'd like for you to really think about that, because we can help ESD 7, we can help ourselves save this $30,000.
Brian,
Hey,
do they have an estimate of amount of dirt they're needing?
We do. I'd have to pull it up on my phone. It's, I want to say 7 or 8 cubic yard, 7 or 8,000 cubic yards. And what I would have to look back in here, we're taking about 15,000 cubic yards off the sheriff's office side. So we got more than ample dirt to do this with, okay? So we'd like to think about that as we move forward, how we can help ESD and help ourselves, okay? These documents also go on to explain all the allowances that we have built in. It's just typical technical documents that the contractor would put together to say, here's what all is included in that guaranteed maximum price. And again, it's several pages long, so I don't think you want to go through the detail in open court. It is available for everybody to see. Okay. Another thing they've asked us, before they can get started, y'all have to approve the GMP. We have to give them a notice to proceed. All along, we've been shooting for a April 1st grant. And so what they have asked us for, if we can give them notice to proceed by March the 17th, which is just next week, then they can roll and everything just stay right on that schedule. Okay. So that's it in a nutshell. So any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
does that look pretty good to you, Dwayne? It's substantially less than the
25.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about the dump trucks deal. Have to get with Matthew on that. Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, save enough money there to maybe buy Leon a new dump truck.
I need it.
Throw that out there, yeah. All right, any questions, concerns, discussion?
I'd like to state, since we were doing the notice to proceed, we need to have it to them by the 17th. Kenny and I were discussing that usually he does that for his clients, gives it to construction. I feel like the court needs to give approval for him to do that on LSCAP.
The reason we like to do that, because understand that that is a contractual date. It establishes the date, ties back into the contract. And let's, heaven forbid we ever have problems, but the reason you do this, it establishes that start date. They have so many months to complete the project. We put that in writing. That's formalized. We have record of it. Y'all can do that. We typically do it on behalf of our clients.
Is it already addressed in your master contract with the county
To
this issue?
It's just something we do. It's just part of our services. So it's not, it doesn't,
But
it's just me writing a letter.
The contract that we already have with y'all, does it address,
Right.
give y'all the right instead of?
Oh, yeah, our job is to do whatever it takes to facilitate your project. So it's just me, y'all establishing that day. You give me the authority, I write a notice to proceed letter. It's a simple paragraph. It says, your notice to proceed date is effective such and such.
And we need to
You
do
have
it
18 months to complete this
Yeah.
project to get to
Next
substantial.
court date is the 23rd.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
So the reason it would be the 17th, that is the date they would need to receive it by in order to break ground on April 1st.
That's what they're asking. So it's not a big deal for me to write that notice to proceed.
If y'all want to wait and do it, and let's do it and approve it in the next court, it's just gonna push our groundbreaking back a week. That's
I'm not gonna go ahead and
Go ahead
do
and
it.
do it.
One thing about I don't want to veer too much off the topic, but the utility hookups, I need something on that so we move forward on that.
We're still working forward because that's obviously not like construction. That's us working with energy and of course with the city, and we know we got to follow up with them to get that done because we're talking to the city just wanting to.
Right.
And so we got all squared away. But this would get White the notice to get started. They're not going to jump out there immediately and start building. They have to get a lot of contracts done. They have to get ready to mobilize. And that's what they're looking for is that time period, the next couple of weeks, so that they're ready by April 1st.
Any questions?
There's a couple of other things that are related to this, and I'll say those right now, even though they may not be on the agenda, but because it's related to the sheriff's office, is the radio tower. I've talked to Brett at the sheriff's office. We need to get engaged with Harris County fairly soon. We know where it's going. It potentially impacts the location of it as it's shown today, potentially impacts how big the jail could be in the future. I would like to move that. I think we can move it closer to the sheriff's office, which would in turn reduce some cost because we're running conduit out to it. The cost of the tower is not in this project, but the conduit extensions to it to tie into the sheriff's office are. So if I can move it back, it does two things, help save a little money, also gives me a bigger footprint to plan that future jail out there. And that's something that we'll have to talk under other circumstances. But I think that's kind of the highlights of the topics that Stephanie and I talked about.
Yes, it is.
All right. Any more questions? Leon, you have any questions for Kenny?
No, my question is, should we take no action on this right until we get our final numbers like on the utilities, Dwayne?
No, I don't think, they got a pretty good estimate, but I was just curious of, is that gonna go through Kenny or are we gonna pay the city directly to hook that stuff up or how's that gonna work?
It's going to be directly with the city. We're just kind of facilitating it and where we want it to come to, but they've got to design it, they've got to do it, and the county will pay for it. I think you want to keep that clean separation, let them bring it to us. You're right.
We just have an allowance.
Yes.
As far as the utilities are concerned.
Right.
It wasn't 200,000.
We had 200,000 budgeted for utilities. And of course, the letter we got from the city was like 225, so we're close.
That was electrical and water.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're really working hard on energy that maybe there won't be any cost for them to bring it to us.
Right. It's even better.
We'll see. We are engaged with energy on getting that done. They've asked for some documents and things, and I think we've provided all that. And their engineering teams are working on it.
All right. Anything else? Need a motion in a second. Got a motion from Greg
Second,
to approve. Second.
do we need to add in there, Burns architect to handle that?
They issue the notice to proceed.
I
Yeah,
did.
Okay.
with that amended.
Yeah, Bruce Burns Architects to write letter to proceed with construction by March 17, 2021.
All we're doing right now is saying it. Okay. All right, got a motion, a second, all in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion unanimous. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.
Thank you, thank you, sir.
7.4, Engineering Department. Consider approve one, awarding a construction contract to Angel Brothers. It's Kirk and Harvey Round 1 infrastructure improvements. And number 2, approve of construction change order. Linda, I think y'all need to explain this a little bit.
I'm going to let her take care of it.
Okay, all right.
She showed a fun plan, thank you.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Glad you came over from.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows me, Victoria Dye with LJ Engineering. So,
Did y'all, Leon and David, could y'all hear this? Victoria with LJA?
Yes.
Okay.
okay, so we opened bids for the Liberty County Infrastructure Round 1 project about a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And so we got bids from 5 contractors. And looking at the base bid, Angel Brothers came in at the lowest bidder for all 4 packages. At the base bid. The base bid included 4-inch GS100, GS100 for every single road for all the packages. So the base bid came in about $373,000 over than what we were allocated for construction. Now, during the scoping process in 2019, when speaking to each of the commissioners, we were, except from precinct 1, the commissioners were on board for a 2-inch GS100. Now, during the design phase, we suggested an increase to that of a 4-inch, but we knew that the budget probably wouldn't be able to allow for that construction. So we had alternate items in the bid package to where there was 2-inch GS100 so that we could swap it out if need be. So it did turn out that for package 2, 3, and 4, we would need to do that, that we would need to swap out the roads for a 2-inch GS100. Now, package 1 came in with their funds being where they needed to be at. So we weren't going to touch that. Now, looking at the numbers, we were able to swap out precinct 2 for the 2-inch GS100, and they were pretty much at the number they needed to be for their agreed upon allocation. For precinct 3 and 4, we did the same, but we noticed that there were a little bit of funds extra left over that we could swap some of the roads with 4-inch, kind of mixing both 4-inch and 2 inches for the roads. So so doing that, we get to a point where the numbers all kind of work within the GLO funded amount. Now, I do want to bring up that for precinct 3, LJA did have an oversight in which Angel Brothers is not truly the lowest bidder if we do the mixing of the 2-inch and the 4-inch combination. That it actually should go to CC Blacktopping. They came in about $33,000 lower. So my original engineer's recommendation is going to be retracting precinct 3 to be awarded to Angel Brothers, and it should go to CCC Blacktopping. I know that that wasn't on the agenda and that we may need to come back in 2 weeks to actually formally award it to CCC, which is fine. But I do still suggest that precincts 1, 3 and 4 go to Angel Brothers.
And we still, precinct 1, we still have our 4 inches, not the 2 inches.
Yes, precinct 1 did come into where their numbers were great, in which they'll get a 4-inch GS 100. And with the change order, they'll be able to go with a 3-inch hot mix. And so that's where the additional agenda item for a change order is, for 106,000-ish. And that still leaves everything with, if we award it to where Angel Brothers gets 1, 2, and 4, and CCC Blacktopping gets 3, we're pretty much at a surplus of $8,000 in the grant construction amount. We don't want to leave anything, too much over the table that goes back to the state, and try to use as much as we can. So 8,000 could be something, if something comes up during construction, hopefully it'll handle everything.
All right, let's bring the precinct 3 back up at a later date.
Yes, we'll have that on the next quarter.
Okay. So the motion would be to approve 1, 2, and 4.
Correct.
Okay. Leon, you good with that?
Yes.
David, we're gonna bring yours back up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion for Bruce, a second. I'll give that to Leon, since he was the loudest. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Number 7.5, Mr. C, and he is still with us. There he is. Consider and approve awarding bid number 21-05 for an equipment shed.
Okay, we had 5 bidders for this shed, this equipment shed. The lowest bidder was Pelco Builders, $76,736.45. And then Bruce has seen them. I'll turn it over to Bruce to tell us what he wants to do.
Basically apples for apples, isn't it, Harold? On the bidding,
I'm sorry, what?
it's apples for apples on the bidding procedures, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go with the lowest bidder. Make a motion to approve going with the lowest bidder,
736 what, Harold?
45.
44.
Got a motion for Bruce to approve this awarding of this bid 21-05. Need a second?
Second.
Yeah, second from Leon. He's a little bit louder than you today for some reason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't go yet. Harold, I got one more here for you.
All right.
7.6, consider and approve the payments for insurance premium. And that is on our liability insurance policy, and also, let's see. I know it's the facilities and also the vehicles and such. What else is included?
Equipment, property.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, when y'all approved this, I think the last meeting in January, the premium that was quoted to us, the estimated premium was $928,605. Now, you know, when you do that premium, it's not a set premium for the year, because automobile, equipment, property all have rates. Like the sheriff, the law enforcement vehicles are over $1,000, probably $1,200 a year. Mid-level trucks are $600 or $700 a year. Trailers might be $200 a year, something like that. So they take our list, they apply it to those rates. So y'all approve those rates, and then it changes all during the year as you add and subtract equipment or vehicles. Okay, so there's a little miscommunication this time. We have the insurance list, which McGriff keeps up with it all year. Things are added and deleted. We have the list they sent out to the commissioner, with all the departments to look at and make sure they agree with what's on there. It needs to be insured. And then Stephanie has a list, but she's been doing an inventory since May. So when they had all 3 of those lists, they basically, I think, made a mistake, accidentally and combined them and sent them to the insurance company. And that's what they use to bind our insurance. Okay, so that makes it an increase because there's a lot of things on that list now that shouldn't be on that list. So we've been working mostly Todd Arnold and Stephanie, but then Ben Odom and I have worked with them too, trying to get the things off that shouldn't be on there. There's some things added, like the servers we've been buying for the court, the new court system had not been added yet. So those were added. So there are some new things on there, but there's probably quite a bit that needs to come off. And I know Stephanie's been working with the commissioners in the sheriff's office the last few days or last week or so, trying to get those off. What the new premium would be right now would be $1,034,785.32. But because this went into effect February 5th and they've been covering this since then, they want us to pay this premium and to get our final list to them by this Friday. And then they will go back to February 5th and take off where we say take off. And so we'll be refunded. Anything that's taken off will be refunded. But they want us to pay it because, you know, they've been covering it since February 5th and we hadn't paid a premium. So they'd like us to pay the $1,034,000 and then we'll keep working with them. Once they get the final list, they'll re-rate it. And hopefully we'll get some refunds of things that really shouldn't have been on there. So what I'm asking basically is go ahead and pay this, and then we'll keep working with them, and we'll keep working with them and get our refunds, and I'll let you know what the refunds are when we get them. And we did just receive recently a $61,000 refund from Travelers when we changed over in October because of the jail, and we received that refund from our previous premium.
Okay.
Yeah, because looking at the list I have on some of this old equipment that I got that we're insuring, I don't see any need of insuring on just a whole lot of this stuff that's on this list.
That's what I'm going on.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot on there that I guess when the departments bought something, they just called insurance and added it. And there's, because of our deductible and the age of some of that equipment, it shouldn't even be on there. So we're trying to get all that stuff off too. But I will tell you this, Stephanie's lists are going to be the most accurate. And once we get all this figured out, we'll truly know we have everything insured that needs to and not have stuff on there that we shouldn't have. So even if we end up paying more premium than you originally said, we're going to be better off because we'll feel a lot more comfortable than we have in a long time that everything's on there.
Wayne, you got any problem writing a check for $1,034,000?
No, we gotta do what we gotta do.
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion from Bruce to approve. Second from Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5 nays. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7.7. So consider and approve the contract for ambulance services with Allegiance Mobile Health, including 4 advanced life support ambulances, 2 basic life support ambulances, all fully equipped and manned 24 hours a day, and 1 paramedic supervisor chase vehicle for a term of 3 years and 2 additional 1-year renewal periods. Okay, Catherine?
Yes, sir.
Anything you need to add to it? I believe it's pretty well, we beat this one down pretty hard.
We have,
The
Judge.
last month and a half, 2 months.
We have. I have finished the final draft of Liberty County's contract. It's about 25 pages. Mr. Poston has seen it. It's been forwarded to your office and to Stephanie. We have all put our heads together, and everything that we could possibly think of and cover is in this agreement. Certainly, if the court has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those for you guys.
Yeah. Any discussion?
I would like to address real quick, because we do state in the agreement, they propose in their proposal a monthly meeting with someone who the court appoints that they meet with and go over their numbers, hand in their reports. That's important. I think that we actually kick that off and do it. so that we can all be happy and not get surprised with complaints. But we just kind of just keep the door open between us and communication with them to keep us all happy. So there's no breach of contract. So who would the court like to appoint those meetings to be set up with?
Well, I'll tell you what, Stephanie, I think I just appoint you.
Sounds good to
I
me.
thought I shouldn't stand up and
I think we'd all decided that Bill was gonna be the one, because he's gonna dog them every day, and Bill's gonna be the one, Herger Miller's gonna be the one that keeps up with them, I think.
Yeah, I would like to get Bill and Stephanie if we could. That way we have the watchdog and the, on one side, and also the numbers watcher on the other. And that way we can report back.
Does that need to be an agenda item?
Or is that part of the contract?
It's part of it.
It's part of the
It's
contract.
part of the contract.
The contract currently states that these monthly meetings and these reports will occur, and it specifically says with the Liberty County Commissioners Court or their designee.
If you'd like him to come to court once a month, we could have it done that way also, unless you'd like to.
No, I mean, there's nothing on
No,
the
it's
agenda
on the
to
agenda.
appoint people, yeah.
But it is part of the
It's part of the
contract.
contract procedures, so.
You have a problem with that? Being part of the contract? I mean, it's already in there.
Yeah, no, and just normally we do appointments as a separate line item, that's all. That's-
Yeah.
I can bring it back next quarter.
We can either bring it back unless you approve the contract with the changes to add specific designees in the terms of the contract.
Catherine,
Yes, sir.
when is the effective date of the new contract? Or is it gonna be when it's executed? Is it gonna be April the 1st or
April the 1st.
April the 1st?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Get more discussion. Leaves a chance now.
Well, I mean, do you want to go ahead and say who you're going to appoint, or do you want to address it at the 23rd meeting, because it sounds like you've got time? So have it as a particular line item.
We certainly could do that.
Let's just do that.
Okay.
No questions or concerns. So we will table this until the next meeting.
No, not the
No,
contract.
we can go ahead and approve the
Not on the
contract.
contract, yeah.
And make sure y'all get that cleared up now. Give everybody an opportunity. Okay. All right, we approve the contract and bring back up the appointments.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion from Bruce, second from Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Just need a
Make a motion to adjourn.
motion from Bruce to adjourn. Second from Greg, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah,